What's team and dreamers? Welcome back to another STEM video at the Bay County Public Library. You probably read the title below the video, so you know that this video is going to be about muscles. And I've been a student before, you are a student now most likely, so I know you know plenty about how muscles work. So I didn't want this video to be a basic introductory video. I kind of wanted to just give you guys really interesting facts that you can use to impress your teacher or your friends or your family. So this video is going to be 3 awesome facts about muscles that I learned by reading books like this that I found at the library. So if that sounds like your kind of video, then stick around. We're going to go over them nice and quick, and afterwards we'll have a little handcraft to demonstrate how muscles work in your hands. So without further ado, let's get started. Interesting muscle fact number 1, we don't use all the muscles in our body. There's at least 630 muscles that you've probably heard a lot about, your biceps and your triceps and all of these cool muscles, and muscles tend to weigh somewhere between 1/3 and 1/4 of our body weight. So it seems like we would be carrying around all useful muscles, right? That's not the case. In fact, there's plenty of muscles in the human body that we don't even use on a daily basis. Those muscles have a fancy scientific name called vestigial muscles, but I like to call them the never use them ever muscles. So where are these vestigial muscles in our body? Well, the first one is actually kind of cool. I'll show you how to find it. Step 1, take your hand. Step 2, you take your pinky and your thumb and you make them touch. Lastly, slowly lift your palm off of the table where it's been sitting, and you should be able to see a stretching line that comes out from underneath your hand. A lot of people assume that this is a vein. That's not true. It's actually a tendon that runs up the arm and connects to a muscle in your forearm. That muscle is called the Palmaris Longus. You can think about it as a muscle that goes from your palm and goes really, really long, connected by that tendon that we showed you earlier in the video. Scientists think we have it because we're so closely connected genetically to apes and monkeys, specifically monkeys because they like to climb in trees. A muscle that's so closely connected to your palm and to your hand can really serve a creature that lives its entire life in a treetop somewhere. As a result, the monkeys have very large and defined palmaris longus muscles, whereas us, who kind of sit around and make YouTube videos all day, don't have too much of a need for the muscle in our hands. In fact, a lot of people don't even have the muscle or tendon at all. At least 10% of the United States doesn't even have a tendon here. So if you don't have one, don't worry, it's not a big deal, unless you plan on climbing trees sometime soon. The next vestigial muscle is one that only a few people can actually even move. If you know anybody who can wiggle their ears, then they have access to a line of muscles that wrap around the ear that allows them to swivel their ears up and down or back and forth. Again, in people, it doesn't make much of a difference whether your ears can wiggle or not on a daily basis, but if you're an animal, like a cat or a dog, you've probably seen them move their ears around as they scan an environment. This is to help them pick up on different noises like predators or prey that out in the wild they might have to look out for. And lastly, there's the vestigial muscle called erector pili muscles in your skin. You know them as what causes goosebumps. So whenever you get cold or scared, your hair will stand on end. Now, since most humans are hairless apes, or at least mostly hairless apes, it doesn't help us very much at all to have our hair stand on end. But imagine if you're a cat or a dog or even a bird who needs to look really big and tough for predators who might try to attack you. Or maybe you're just cold and you want to insulate the air. It's like having a blanket everywhere you go if all your fur could just puff out and make you a lot bigger. Fortunately, us people don't have to worry about that. We have central heating and cooling and weighted blankets to help us stay warm when we're cold. So again, in summary, vestigial muscles are muscles in the human body that we don't even use anymore, but they kind of hung around because we're so closely connected genetically to a bunch of different animals in the world. The next quick fact about muscles is that your tongue is not the strongest one. In fact, all sorts of muscles are strong for all sorts of different reasons. If you're talking strictly force, then your calf muscles are the strongest, which makes sense because you spend them running and walking around all day. However, did you know that one side of your body has stronger muscles than the other? So if anyone ever asked you which muscles are the strongest, you can ask the person, are you right-handed or left-handed? Chances are, if a person is right-hand dominant, then their entire right-hand side is stronger. You tend to lean toward one side of the body or the other. This is called body dominance. It's unclear why people tend to have one stronger muscle versus another, but you can compare it to any side of the human body. So the right hand is usually stronger than the left hand. The right foot is usually stronger than the left foot. Even inside, where we have 2 kidneys and 2 lungs, one tends to be a little bigger than the other. Even our brain, which has 2 sides, a left hemisphere and a right hemisphere, has a side that usually is more dominant than the other. If you're right-handed, it's your left side. If you're left-handed, then it's your right side. So the next person to tell you that the tongue is the strongest muscle in the body, you can shake your head and let them know, actually, the tongue is a group of muscles. That's why people get tongue-tied so much. The last quick muscle fact is the fact that muscles don't push, they only pull. I know, because there's actually exercises called push-ups and press-ups. We think that when we go down and push up against the ground that we're actually pushing using our muscles. The truth of the matter is that muscles only ever pull. First of all, let me give you 2 more vocabulary words. Muscles can either contract or they can relax. When a muscle contracts, it gets a lot smaller, but that often pulls on both of the tendons that are at the end of muscles. So what this does is bring things closer together. When you go to flex a muscle, say your bicep, what ends up happening is that the bicep looks bigger because it's going upward, but actually all it's doing is pulling all of that muscle into a smaller place. That makes it look a lot bigger. When you're not flexing, your muscles are relaxing. That means they're allowed to stretch out as long as they need to. So the next time anyone says that they're doing a push-up, tell them no, they're doing a tricep contraction. So in summarization, those are the 3 cool facts that I learned by reading books about muscles at the library. The first one, again, is that we have these muscles in our body that we don't even use. They're called vestigial muscles, and we have them because we're so closely genetically connected to animals. The second fact is that one side of your body is usually stronger than the other side. It's not the tongue that's the strongest in the body, just it tends to be one side or the other. And number 3, the body is full of muscles, but none of them push. They only pull. They do this by having muscle contractions in opposite sides of the arm or leg or any part of the body. So, now that you have some really cool and interesting facts to take to school and impress your teachers with, I'm going to show you how to make a craft that will also impress your teachers. So, here's the things you'll need for the craft. You'll need a piece of construction paper. I like bright colors because they're easier to see. A pair of scissors, 4 straws. They don't have to be see-through. A pencil, mechanical or number 2 works just fine. Some tape, because tape is good for everything. And finally, some string. You can also use yarn or thicker strings, but I found that thinner strings work the best because we're going to be tying it eventually, and you don't want to have really chunky knots. So to start, because this is a handcraft, we'll definitely be using our hands. Start by taking one hand, placing it on the paper, and then take your pencil and make an outline of it on your paper. I know you can't see it too well on camera, but we got our hand traced in there real nice. Next thing we'll do is we'll take our scissors and cut out the hand that we just traced. There we go. We have one hand. You can flip yours over like I'm about to do because I don't like to see all my pencil marks on my paper. Next thing you definitely want to keep your scissors around for is because we're going to take 3 of our straws here and we're going to cut each straw into 5 pieces. Once you have your straws cut into little strawlets like this, you're going to take each one and glue 3 of them to each finger. These are going to represent the different parts of each finger. If you find that your straw is a little too chunky or too big for something like your pinky, then feel free to cut it down even smaller to something like that size so that you have space to glue 3 of them, or tape 3 of them to each finger. I'll go ahead and do that now. And there you go. You should have something that looks a little like this. What we'll do now is probably the harder part. I'm going to take my string here and feed the string through each of the different fingers. We're going to try to line them up at the bottom where the wrist is. This is when having thread is actually great because you can feed it through using a needle. This is what it'll look like when you have one string through one of them. And what you're going to want to do is make sure you have the string that comes plenty far out below the wrist area here, but you want plenty of excess so you can cut it off. Then once you have a free end over here and a free end over here, you want to tie the end at the tip of the finger in a knot around the last plastic straw. I'm going to double knot it just to be safe. There we go, that's not going anywhere. And cut off the excess. There, you'll have something that looks a little bit like that. The string kind of falls off the bottom of the hand at the wrist like it's supposed to, and this top part is tied onto the topmost straw on the pinky. And you'll just continue this for all of the fingers, including the thumb. Be patient with it. I know it's going to be a little frustrating because if you cut your straws too big like I did, it's hard to feed the needle or the thread through. It's 100% worth it at the end. This is going to be a super cool experiment.
One eternity later.
So when you're done, it should look something like this. Got your 5 strings, all leading to each of your 5 fingers. Everything is nice and tied with your fingers. And at the ends of the strings, things are cut down like so. What you want to do now is tie all of these strings together in one knot at the base of the wrist, or maybe a little below the base of the wrist. It doesn't have to be exact. Very good. Okay, once you have your knot tied close to the wrist, this is when the last straw comes in handy. You'll tuck the group of strings through this straw at the bottom. Like so. And then if you want, you can actually tape the straw to the wrist so you don't lose it. I'm going to do that. And now that we have our hand ready here, we pull on these strings at the bottom of our straw, and the fingers curl in like that, see? So whenever you open and close your hand, all the muscles are being pulled from your wrist to curl your fingers. Fun fact, there's actually no muscles in any of your fingers. There's only muscles in your palm and in your forearm. So this experiment kind of demonstrates that, where there are no actual muscles in each of the fingers, but they each get pulled by muscles in the wrist or muscles in the forearm. Thank you guys for watching this STEM video and doing your little craft with me. I love doing the different body systems, and I hope to eventually work my way through each one. This one is the muscular one. Let me know which one you want to see next by commenting on our Facebook page. Hopefully you had some fun. Hopefully one of the 3 facts you didn't know until you watched this video. Be sure to go out and share that with your friends and family and teachers. I'm sure they'll be impressed. We'll see you in 2 weeks with another video about science, technology, engineering, art, or math. And if you want to get any of these books yourself, any of the ones that I read through to get some information for this video, I'll have a link in the description to a list of the books that I looked up in the Youth Service Department at the Bay County Public Library. So, until next time, stay safe, wash your hands, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!